BSN for hosting this wonderful get-together tonight. I hope next year it'll be even bigger, and the year after that it'll be bigger, and it'll take 5 valets to park all the And if you I know have flown in tonight to be here especially, and I want to thank you on behalf of LE&RN for doing that. And we greatly appreciate the money that you've donated for LE&RN, for helping us continue our fight against lymphatic diseases. But time is the most valuable thing we have to give in this world. And you, all of you sitting here, because I'm the new kid on the block, all of you have given generously of your time, and I so appreciate being here with you. It's a steep learning curve, but I know that you will teach me as I go along. It has been a historic week for America. The Supreme Court handed down a landmark decision legalizing same-sex marriage. The court upheld Obamacare, providing health insurance for millions of Americans. The Confederate flag, long an emblem of slavery, bigotry, and hatred, is at last being torn down throughout the South. But perhaps most significantly, our first Black American president sang Amazing Grace for the 9 victims of the Charleston massacre. I can't help but reflect on these momentous events because, in our own small way, those of us who are gathered here tonight are beginning a worthy struggle that most likely will take a very long time, great effort, and tremendous patience to endure the fight, to educate the public, the medical community, and to raise the enormous amount of money for research needed to solve the mystery of these diseases that cause millions of people to suffer. And when I first met Bill Rapisi a year ago, he told me that 10 million people suffer with lymphedema and lymphatic diseases. You know these numbers, but I had heard them for the first time. I was astounded. I had no idea. I thought that lymphedema was only a complication due to lymph nodes being removed during mastectomies. But as Bill talked, I learned the difference. And I felt something inside me, and it's hard to put into words. There was a stillness that had never been there before. It's kind of a gathering of my energy, and a quiet resolve. I felt the injustice that so many people are suffering, and nobody is listening to them. I suffer from the same thing, but in no way as severely as they do. And I had to do something to help, somehow. I didn't know if I could do anything that would make a difference, but I knew I had to try. And when I said yes, I felt calm, and I believed I could live up to my promise. And I make that promise to you tonight. I recommit myself to it. I hope that I will be able to do wonders to change the tide of this disease. Now, as the year has gone by, the indefatigable Bill forwarded me email after email from people who were living with this disease, and then the cold statistics began to live and breathe. As I read their stories, I was moved to tears. What they suffered was unimaginable. Andrew Mata, a young pharmacological student, woke up one morning and he discovered his leg was horribly swollen, just out of nowhere. He was horrified, understandably, bewildered as how to help himself to stop the pain, to leave the bed and even go to the bathroom. He needed help and he didn't know where to get it. Or there was the young ballerina who woke up one morning only to discover that her dancing career was over. Or the woman who had twins. Both were healthy, but one had a swollen leg, and the doctors did every test, couldn't figure out what it was. And finally, they came to her and said, we looked on the internet, And we found this thing. We think it's something called lymphedema, and that was that. They sent her home to deal with it on her own. And that woman is Heather Ferguson. She's here with us tonight. She's flown all the way from North Carolina. Her son Dylan is now 8 years old and a handful. Is that correct? Thank you for being here tonight. We send our love to Dylan. There was the 65-year-old veteran of the Vietnam War who was bitten by a mosquito and developed lymphatic filariasis, a bacterial infection that causes his lower extremities to swell and turn black and blue. He has endured this torture for years. The VA had no idea how to treat it. They just treated it with warm compresses on his legs. And the CDC, incredibly, sent him to us to help him. His email ends in all caps. Please help me, with exclamation points. I know all we can do for now is to offer comfort by listening and responding to their emails, but we can't really do anything to end their suffering without the proper research. I'm just learning there are doctors like Dr. Patel, Dr. Stan Rocks, and other doctors who are trying new methods of transplantation, other things that I haven't even learned about yet. Sometimes Bill can get them to Stan Roxon at Stanford for diagnosis and treatment. Stan is a hero. He can and does help. He treats about 600 patients a year, and he has a photo on the wall in his office of an ostrich with its head in the sand depicting the medical community when it comes to lymphedema. And despite this seemingly impossible challenge over the last year, as we were able to strategically plan articles and interviews online and TV, thanks to my publicist at ID, especially Rachel Carton, who's here tonight with her boyfriend Lorenzo. Thank you, Rachel. Bill and I have begun to experience a bit of momentum. More and more people with lymphedema are sending texts, tweets, and videos speaking about their own personal struggles with lymphedema. Having the courage to come forward for the first time, they are supporting our cause, thanking us for our help, urging us forward in our goal to eradicate this horrible disease. It's Bill's dream to create a kind of AIDS quilt with all of these videos, and that would be the most powerful way to give the face to lymphedema. And there is some progress, as Bill mentioned earlier tonight. 6-year-old Emma Detlefson, who has lymphedema in both legs, was honored with the Lymphedema Awareness Day resolution last year as LE&RN's ambassador. As a result of Emma's appearance, the New York State Legislature passed a bill this month for lymphatic research that had been gathering dust for 12 years. As one assemblyman was heard to say, quote, "We have to help these children," close quote. For over 100 years, scientists have debated the question of the origins of the lymphatic system, and recently Dr. Karina Yaniv at the Weizmann Institute of Science in Israel and her colleagues revealed how the lymphatic system develops in embryo and managed to grow lymphatic cells in the lab. Her discoveries were published in the medical journal Nature. Dr. Yaniv thanked LE&RN for their support over the last 5 years and their contribution that has helped make this discovery a reality. My own journey has awakened my heart in a way that I never expected or imagined would be possible. I knew I had lymphedema, but I had no idea where to turn. One of my surgeons found Dr. Emily Eicher, a real heroine in this fight. She healed my body and my soul. She is here tonight, and she is the reason I am here tonight, because she introduced me to Bill. Thank you, Dr. Eicher. I've had a wonderful career as an actor. I have inhabited fascinating characters over the years that I will never forget. But in being able to serve as the spokesman for LE&RN, I have been bestowed with the honor and the enormous gift of finally doing something real with my life, helping real people who are suffering with a real disease. Bill and I have been emailing Andrew Mata, the man I mentioned earlier, who is suffering with lymphedema. His anger has turned into ferocious hope and support. Yesterday, Bill forwarded me this email from Andrew. I quote, "I wish I could be there for Sunday's walk, but we'll definitely be at the New York City walk for sure. Definitely looking forward to speaking at that event, and I hope it won't be my last. If Kathy is going to be speaking on Sunday, would you do me a favor? Before she speaks, can you tell her, Andrew from Toronto is telling you, we're about to change the world." And that's what we are doing tonight. Thank you very much.